Dawson's Rentals.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Ryder here with just a small little tidbit of Power Rangers news. It came out yesterday, which was Saturday. This is going up on Sunday. A little bit late on it because I didn't have time to cover it yesterday, but it's fairly small, but it's something I wanted to talk about just for some speculation and also something that it reveals about the upcoming toy line, which is, as of yesterday, we got our first look at the art, the box art for the Cosmic Fury toy line Megazord. Now, by the time this goes up, while I'm out tomorrow, there'll probably be like a bunch of pictures that come out of the toys or something, or other art. That's usually what happens, is other news breaks after I get irrelevant news out. But as of right now, it's just the box art. I believe it's for like the combo set, and it has the core art of Q-Reno, which, you know, obviously confirms that's our first main Megazord. I don't think that was ever in question. You know, I thought when we first announced it, since they were doing original stuff, there was a slim chance they could do something crazy like make Orion our main Megazord, but I was fairly certain we were going to do this even before we got the whole, you know, swordfish shark gate, which honestly, it's fun to poke fun at, but as I've said before, the swordfish can pass as a shark. It's not a big deal. It's like hardly something to focus on. So all really to talk about with that is the art looks good. I think that's one of the few things that the fans can agree on in regards to the Hasbro Power Rangers era toys specifically, is that the packaging art they do for like the Megazords and stuff always looks cool, and it's neat to see it in this style. Also funny, when seeing the first image of this, I looked down at like the legs and they looked like more red than I thought I was used to, and I was like, oh my god, are they doing something original where like the second half of the Megazord doesn't even use blue and black Zords? And then like I looked down further and I could see them. I guess I forgot how much red there could be on the Zord, but I was like, they're gonna go original for this, which I just thought was weird because it's like, well then what's the point of using the Q-Ranger footage? But it was just me being classic dumb Dawson. The major thing to take away from it though actually is it showing the Zord Link system. We did get confirmation before that they were going to continue that, which is, you know, the system of like the Lego customization we brought over for Dino Fury. And it's going to be continuing into this one, and they show just a little illustration to show off that it works. And like you can see that they keep the Lego ports. It's like happening between the detachable Q-Tama parts with it. So that's interesting. I guess I sort of imagined that's what it would be like in my head, but it was still kind of interesting to think about just because, you know, the Ryusoulger mecha are different with that Lego aspect. You know, ever since Sentai Mech have been collected, you know, and online has existed, I've seen people do mismatched combinations, which is why I never understood why everyone was so douchey about complaining about the Zord Builder, because there was like I remember there was a dedicated thread on Ranger Board at one point of people combining Sentai Mecha in different ways that they weren't supposed to, just for fun. Like, it's a fun gimmick for collectors that like to do that, and kids alike. It was always a smart gimmick. You know, I think it was one of the smartest things Bandai did, so I think it's smart for them to do that here. But it was interesting to think about with Q-Ranger and, you know, Ryusoulger's mecha interacting, because they are so different, and specifically Ryusoulger is designed in a very specific way to work within its own ecosystem, as opposed to other Megazords where, you know, like with older Sentai or Power Rangers mech, you might find an ARM port that happens to be compatible. But that's continuing. I think it'll be interesting to see some combos that people make out of these two going together. Yeah, and I think that's overall pretty smart that we're continuing that. As I've mentioned previously, I'm really curious to see what other mecha we're going to use, you know, because there's 4 primary mecha. I'm curious to see if we'll use all 4 or just a couple, and even if we use all 4, would we even get releases for all of them? I'm fairly confident, well, maybe not 100% confident, but I'm pretty confident we're going to get Purple's mecha, or at least, you know, Orange's Zord, since we're getting an Orange Ranger, and we'll probably use that. And that was used a lot, and almost I would argue primarily with Ryu Commander's mech, so I'm going to be fairly confident that we get that one, but we'll have to see. I'm eager to see that most of all. Like, this was like, oh cool, we get the art, but I was more curious to see what beyond Q-Reno we're going to get. Something I did want to discuss that I thought was interesting in thinking about the Zord Link continuing is I'm really curious what we're going to do about the main toy line after Cosmic Fury, after Cosmic Fury, like during the gap year between the end of Cosmic Fury and the beginning of the reboot. You know, I'm curious, like, would they continue like a version of the main toy line based off of maybe mmpr or retro stuff, and maybe keep like Zord Link releases going for like the Dino Megazord or like the White Tiger Zord or something? I'm kind of curious about that, because, you know, there's a chance that when we have the gap year that the main line as we know it could sort of disappear. Like, I'm like almost 100% sure the Lightning Collection will continue through the gap year. Like, we'll get figure releases, you know, Morpher releases. Well, Morpher releases are few and far between. They're just going to start doing colors for the MMPR Morpher that's not even like a Ranger color. Like the orange MMPR Morpher, it's like, Come on, son. But you know what I mean. They'll continue the Lightning Collection. But I'm curious if, like, the main line will just disappear and then, like, reappear in some form for the reboot. Because I imagine there'll be toys for the reboot. They'll probably do, like, Lightning Collection stuff for it as well, since it's going to be geared a little older, at least eventually. That's what I imagine anyway. But there'll probably be, like, a main line for the reboot. But I imagine it'll look different than the Cosmic Fury, Beast Morphers, Dino Fury lines, because the show will probably be different, so there won't be the same tent poles we're used to in regards to what comes out. So, I mean, I imagine the reboot line, at least in terms of, like, what you expect to see in regards to toy categories that release, will look a little bit different. Like, we'll get a Morpher, Megazord, and figures, but I think, you know, probably not a gimmick and stuff like that. You know, maybe not some random non-show stuff. I don't know. I just think it'll look a little bit different than what the main line looks for the current main show. I think the new main show line will look different. But I'm curious if in the meantime, they'll just wipe it off the board entirely and then reimagine it for the reboot. Or would we get, like I said, maybe do like an mmpr toy line where we get basic figures and Zord Link mmpr and maybe bikes or something. The bikes don't seem to do too well, to be honest, though. Like, I think I saw both the mmpr, Dino Fury Red and Blue. Actually, Blue wasn't a bike set, but those sets that, like, there was the bike set with Red and then the set with Zed and the Blue Ranger, those both went on clearance pretty quick at Walmart here. So those don't seem to do pretty well, but you know what I mean. I'd be curious to see if they continue a version of the main line, maybe just doing throwback Rangers. I'm not sure how likely that is, but I do get a feeling that outside of the Lightning Collection, we might see just other random sort of B-tier retro collectibles or other Ranger-related collectibles, like those basic figures from MMPR that we got for the anniversary, you know, that have released at Walmart and stuff like that, and they're on Hasbro Pulse, I believe, as well as maybe stuff like, you know, when they released the Dino Megazord for Basic. I could totally see something like that, where you have the Lightning Collection and then just these kind of floater, like, one-off figures based off of maybe primarily MMPR, but some older series, as sort of a filler for the main line. But I just thought about that when we were continuing the Zord Link, because I'm like, are they just going to continue this for these two series, or are they maybe going to try to keep this going and release some other Zord Link Zords from past seasons in the meantime to continue some sort of you know, momentum for the toy line during the gap year? But what do you think? What do you think of our first look at our art for Cosmic Fury? Are you excited to see the Zord Link continue? Do you think it was a good idea? And what do you think the future of the main line will be as we have this upcoming gap year? Let me know in the comments as always. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell so you get notifications for all my videos. Until next time, Dawson Ryder, signing out.